She had $22 to feed us both for an entire week. She always made sure I had enough. She always told me she wasn't hungry. This is her story. And if you're a single parent right now, if you've ever stared at your bank account at midnight wondering how you were going to make it to the end of the month, then this video is for you. Because everything I know about money, about discipline, about building something real from nothing, I learned from watching her. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 3 financial habits she used, without any education, without any help, that not only kept us alive, but kept us dignified. Stay with me. It was 1986. My mother took home her paycheck every week, and the first thing she did, before anything else, was sit at the kitchen table with a notepad and divide that money. $22. That's what she had for groceries. Not because she chose to live like that, because that's all there was after rent, utilities, and the few dollars she set aside every week for emergencies. A jar on the counter she never touched unless the world fell apart. I remember watching her walk the aisles of the supermarket with a small list and a pen. Every item she put in the cart, she checked off. If something wasn't on the list, it didn't go in. No exceptions. And every time she came home, she'd cook, and she'd give me the bigger plate. "Mom, aren't you hungry?" "I ate while I was cooking," she'd say. She hadn't. I was maybe 8 years old when I finally understood what she was doing. And I didn't have words for it then. But now I do. She was protecting the budget by protecting me first. That same year, every kid at school was talking about the same thing. The Nintendo Entertainment System. The first one. The one that changed everything. I wanted it more than I had ever wanted anything. I asked her one night, the way only a child can ask, with complete shameless hope. She didn't say no right away. She picked up her notepad, she did the math in front of me. And then she looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "If I buy it, we won't be able to eat for more than a month."
I never asked again. And that moment, that single moment, taught me more about money than any class I ever took. What she was doing, without knowing the term, is called zero-based budgeting. Every dollar that came in had a destination before it arrived. Nothing floated. Nothing was left to chance. In today's money, her $22 grocery budget in 1986 had the same buying power as roughly $65 to $70 in 2026. She was feeding 2 people on that every single week. Tools like YNAB, EveryDollar, or even a simple spreadsheet let you do exactly what she did at that kitchen table, but faster.
The second thing she did is something I've never seen talked about in any personal finance video. It had nothing to do with money, and everything to do with it. Keep watching. My mother couldn't afford to buy me new clothes every season, the way other parents did. Some of my classmates showed up every few weeks in something new. I noticed. Kids always notice. But here's what I also noticed. I was always clean. I was always presentable. My clothes always fit. Because she sewed. She learned to sew not as a hobby, as a survival skill. A torn seam got fixed the same night. A shirt I was growing out of got let out at the shoulders. Shoes got polished until they looked almost new. She extended the life of everything we owned by months, sometimes years. I remember being proud of that, even if I couldn't explain why. There was something in the care she put into it, something that said, what we have matters. We're not going to throw it away just because it's easier. She wasn't just mending clothes. She was teaching me that things have value beyond their price tag, and that taking care of what you have is a form of financial intelligence. Economists call it cost per use. A $30 shirt you wear 3 times costs $10 per wear.
A $60 shirt you repair and wear 60 times costs $1 per wear. She understood this intuitively. Today, this principle extends to everything: cars, appliances, electronics. Learning one basic repair skill, sewing, basic plumbing, simple car maintenance, can save the average household $500 to $2,000 per year. That's not a frugality tip. That's a wealth-building strategy. The third thing she did is the one I've thought about the most as an adult. It's a rule she lived by, and it's the reason we never ended up in the kind of debt that swallows families whole. It's coming up right after this. There were people around us who wanted to help. Neighbors, a relative here and there, and sometimes, not often, but sometimes, someone would offer to lend her money. She always thanked them, she was gracious about it, and then she almost always said no. I asked her once why she wouldn't just take it. Things were hard. It would have helped. She said something I've never forgotten. I only borrow what I can give back this same month. Because a debt you can't pay back on time doesn't stay the same size. It grows. And one day, it's bigger than the problem you were trying to solve. She had no financial education, no economics degree. She had just watched what happened to people around her who borrowed without a plan, and she had decided she would not become that. No credit card debt, no loans she couldn't map out to the day. If she couldn't afford it this month, she waited. It wasn't easy, but it meant that every dollar she earned stayed hers. No interest payments eating into the budget, no phone calls from lenders, no anxiety about money she owed. Only the quiet, steady work of money she was managing. That's a kind of freedom most people never feel. The average American household carries over $7,000 in credit card debt. At a 22% APR, that's more than $1,500 per year paid in interest alone. Money that produces nothing, builds nothing, goes nowhere. What she practiced was debt-free living not as an ideology, but as a mathematical decision. Every dollar not spent on interest is a dollar available for rent, food, or savings. For single parents especially, the margin is too thin to give any of it away to a lender. My mother never became rich. That's not the end of this story. But she never lost the apartment. She never missed a meal, even when she pretended she wasn't hungry. She never asked for a bailout, never drowned in debt, never let the weight of a single income crush us. And somewhere along the way, quietly, without announcing it, she stopped worrying about money. Not because she had more of it, but because she had made peace with exactly how much she had, and she knew down to the dollar what it could do. That's something most people with twice her income never managed to feel. I grew up watching a woman who had every reason to fall apart and didn't. Not because she was extraordinary, because she was disciplined, because she was intentional, because she decided every single week to make the math work. She raised me on $22 a week for groceries, a needle and thread, and a rule about debt that no bank ever taught her. And I had a dignified childhood. That's the whole point of this channel. Not that single parenting is easy, not that the math always works out, but that there is a way through. And the people who find it aren't lucky. They're just paying attention to the right things. If you're a single parent right now, if you recognized something in this story, if you've sat at your own kitchen table with your own calculator trying to make impossible numbers work, I want you to know this channel was built for you. We're going to talk about the real financial challenges of raising a family on one income. Real stories, real strategies, no judgment. If you're struggling to stretch that paycheck, you're not alone. Subscribe so we can build that path together. And leave a comment below. I read every single one. Tell me,
What's the one financial challenge that feels impossible right now? I want to know, because the next video might just be for you.